Dear viewers, welcome to the show POWERchat, Nepal's only TV talk show in English discussing developments since 2016. Through this episode tonight, we are discussing about the human rights situation in Nepal, focusing on the reflections of Nepal Human Rights Yearbook 2020. And I am joined tonight by Mr. Bijay Raj Gautam. He is the Executive Director at Informal Sector Service Centre, INSEC. Let's talk. Welcome to the show, Mr. Gautam.
Thank you, Laxman D.
How have you been?
Good. Despite this COVID-19 pandemic, we're good and we're doing our work as usual.
Well, the organization you're working as the Executive Director for a long time has been documenting the cases of human rights violation for a long time as well. How do you assess the overall human rights situation at the moment?
INSEC has been publishing Nepal Human Rights Yearbook since 1992, and we have come up this year of Nepal Human Rights Yearbook 2021 as the 29th edition of Nepal's human rights situation of the particular year. So in a way that it is a long journey of witnessing Nepal's overall human rights situation of the particular period. So that is one way it's a challenging. And another way, we have seen upheavals of all kind of human rights situation, human rights movement in the country since 1992. It has been a long journey of the Nepal human rights situation. Talking to 2020, this 2021 report, Nepal Human Rights Report, is the reflection of Nepal's human rights movement, human rights violation cases of January 2020 till December 2020, means like overall 1 year's assessment. We have found in general, if we talk about the general human rights situation of the country, compared to the previous year of 2019, the cases has been little bit reduced. This is not the satisfactory result of the Nepal human rights movement, but again we have witnessed the pandemic of more than 9 months. There was restriction, there was a lockdown, and people were not able to move, movement restricted. So in a way, if you ask me about the overall situation of the Nepal human rights of 2020, it is not that satisfactory what we should be witnessing. So in general, as usual, in our last previous years also, the Nepal human rights situation remains a kind of a fragile and difficult and challenging as well.
What are the key challenges that there is criticism that the state and non-state actors that of the conflict time have not been able to address the victims' concern? There is widespread criticism throughout all years in the recent if you look into last 5 or 10 years. What are the key challenges that still remain unaddressed from the state actors?
As I mentioned, that Nepal Human Rights Yearbook is the reflection of overall human rights situation of the country. We have, I just go a little bit background of it, because from 1992 onwards, if we see, there was a democratic atmosphere till 1996. Then we had a decade-long insurgency. Then we had a peace process. So if we talk about the previous past issues, after the comprehensive peace accord, there has been a lot of efforts made by the government, but still the issues remain same. If you ask me about the key issues of the human rights situation of this period, is one is the transitional justice, which we have been talking for a long time, and another one is about the accountability issue, where we do not see that much of tangible result from the government, what it has promised to the people, to the conflict victims, even to the national and international actors. For example, after the comprehensive peace accord, there were commissions formed to address the issues of the past human rights violation cases. Truth and Reconciliation Commission and Commission of Disappearance People. So if you see the record of these two commissions, we have seen that they have done a very good job collecting, more than 60,000 cases from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and also from the Disappearance Commission more than 4,000 cases. But where is the justice for the victims?
Do you have any insights within this Human Rights Yearbook 2021 that records the incidents of the year 2020 on how these transitional instruments could be, more effective?
We have analyzed in the executive summary, we have analyzed the performance and of the what transitional justice mechanism have made during their tenure. As I told you that these commissions were assigned to make, one was the record of these conflict victims, and another one to recommend the proper recommendation to the government. But in the absence of the proper law, the commission says that it could not work as effective as it should be. So that is the cases. In talking to about 2021 Human Rights Yearbook, what we have analyzed is like the process of this more than 13 years of transitional justice mechanism. We have not seen a tangible result for the victims, and there are few cases where we have highlighted the issues. For example, the long standing cases of this Maina Sonwar, and the cases of this even the Ganga Maya case. These are some exemplary cases where these issues has not been addressed for a long time. And another also, we have raised the issue of the impunity, where it is also a long standing procedure. And in the national and international arena, if we talk about the commitment from the government, or commitment what they have made in the if we talk about the universal periodic review, or if you talk about the different treaty bodies review, the government made a good recommendation, commitment to the international arena. Even in the UN Human Rights Council, there was a good presentation by our foreign minister last month. He had made a very good, the report was very good. In terms of its
what are the indicators behind stating foreign minister's statement as
there are the Nepal's report, UPR report, basically I say it is good to read. Like it highlights mostly the results which has been achieved by the government. For example, the government has highlighted National Human Rights Action Plan. The government has highlighted the measure, the GDP growth. It has highlighted the compared the previous year's economic growth, and also it has also highlighted the process of the transitional justice mechanism. At least the issues has been raised. So these kind of principles have been reflected very nicely. In terms of the reality, what the civil society organizations report says is that then where is the result? For example, the government has made the commission, for example, Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the Disappearance Commission. Then what is the delivery then? There is no any indication of these kind of delivery was made, or for example, or the conflict victims have got this kind of justice. There is not a single thing which is mentioned.
Also, your report notes that there has been no concrete actions against the perpetrators of the grave human rights violations of the conflict time. What do you have to say about
this is a Laxman Ji, this is a dilemma we are struggling, and we are witnessing all the day, all the time. And if we talk about the grave human rights violation cases, if we talk about the justice mechanism, justice delivery mechanism, I am not talking about any particular person or particular institution, but everybody has a ready-made answer. This situation is more pathetic. For example, If we talk about the concerned authorities, they have a very good answer. I just talk about the Nepal's civil society report. There is less thing to criticize. Yes, all the things was made. Whatever reflection was there, it is there. But again, where is the result then? Where is the tangible result then? So our yearbook, Nepal Human Rights Yearbook, at least have, recalled all the past commitment what Nepal's government, especially we as the civil society organization are here to make our institution strong, our government strong, our government accountable. That is our role as a watchdog organization. We have our role to make our institutions strong, not to weak these institutions. For example, we have to make strong our National Human Rights institutions, National Human Rights Commission. That is the only human rights constitutional body which has to be more stronger. If you see the National Human Rights Commission's performance, at the very last day of the previous commissioners, they have published the names to be for the action who were involved in the human rights violation cases. So entire 6 years time, National Human Rights Commission at the very last week of their tenure, they have published the report. In a way, it's a good, we can analyze that it is a good thing that at least National Human Rights Commission has published the report. But where is the action then? The new commissioners still, they are there. But again, we have to see the result time and again. So there is no accountability in our assessment of the overall period of these, not only of 2020, of the whole 29 periods of time. There are good commitment made by the people, by the government, but we have not seen a tangible result.
Well, Mr. Gautam, you said that there are less cases compared to the year 2019 in relations to the human rights violations here in Nepal, but you at the same time saying that the instruments, including that of the transitional instrument, National Human Rights Commissions, they are not functioning well. What could be expected out of these all circumstances, and what are your recommendations to these state actors again addressing all concerns of the human rights?
Talking about the 2020 cases, yes, there were only 5,543 cases we have recorded. It is not, we cannot, say that the cases has been decreased. As I mentioned to you that there was a COVID-19 pandemic. Due to that, there was the restriction. There was some time there was the lockdown, and there were restrictive orders by the local authorities as well. So even our people who are placed in all 77 districts, they could not move and get the first-hand information. There was some limitations. I mentioned that the institutions have to be made stronger. We have to make our institution stronger. For example, the two commissions, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the Disappearance Commission, even the tenure has been extended for some period, but again the issues remain same. So I think and also we have to make the institutions more friendly as well as the accessible also. In terms of the government's mechanism, what my recommendation would be, like whatever commitment the government has made, whatever commitment they have made at the national and international level has to be kept all the time, and it has to be addressed properly. And as per the constitution of Nepal's constitution and as per the prevailing different laws, the effective procedure has to be started. I will give one example. There are cases where we have witnessed we have recorded the dowry cases, we have recorded the cases women's violence against women's right cases. Even this time, the girls have been raped and killed by their loved ones, by their family members also. So, and this case sometime does not go to the police. Sometime it is registered to the police stations. The police institutions try to reconcile the cases rather to prosecute the cases and to make the cases to the concerned authorities. So these are some glaring examples where we have to make our institutions stronger. For example, for the police, police is the first organization who gets the information on this first hand information report, FIR report. But if that report is not addressed properly, then the justice will be derailed, or it will not be possible to the victims.
That is really interesting. That there is the presence of government across all districts, and they are local governments. It's not like that we are living in an age there is conflict. There is no conflict at the moment as such.
Yes.
And why state organs are not able to provide with the legal aid, legal service, including that of the first information reporting to the police, despite the fact that government is everywhere. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, there are the local bodies, there are the federal governments, and there are the provincial government. There are the federal government as well as there is the provincial governments are in place. But in talking about the handling the cases and addressing those cases, we have to make the institution stronger. As I said, there might have been some progress on the police institutions. There are we have seen good progress also, but again this is not enough. There are more rooms to be improved in the police institutions. For example, when there is a cases of human right violation cases, why it is taking longer period for the investigation? There are a lot of cases where, for example, Nirmala Pant cases, it has not been addressed properly. There are few cases which Nepal police has also made a good progress. The recent case of the Sudur Paschim cases. So I think the institutions, how you make strong, how you strengthen those institutions is there are few part. One is to make effort on these sensitive cases from the government, to make more effort, to make more resources, to empower the people, to make the skilled and human resource available, infrastructure. For example, on the investigation part, why don't you give more trainings or more institutions available who are capable on doing so? You cannot expect all kind of a good result on this the current infrastructure. That is what we witness all the time.
Well, coming back to the transitional justice issue, you said that the instruments are not functioning well. Do you agree to the discussion going around that these instruments, especially CIDP and the TRC, are not functional because the appointments made within these commissions have no capacity to address the grave human rights violations, and they are some other way serving to the power centers their interest?
If you talk about these kind of institutions, we always see the examples from abroad as well. So there are some cases where this transitional justice mechanism has come to a good result. There are some cases also, and only the thing is like how you make commitment, political commitment. It is not only the clerical job that you collect the information and give the justice. No, there should be a kind of a political commitment. We have on board currently the then conflicting party and the then the Comprehensive Peace Accord signing party, both are on the board, on the same boat. So they know better how to address these issues. If there is a political, will, if there is a political will to address these issues, who is disturbing these kind of things? We don't know. As I said, everybody has a ready-made answer. If you talk about any authorized person or any authority, they say a good answer. Even the conflict victim, they are crying, they are dying, they are crying all the day. We have been witnessing all kind of we also take part in many interaction, many programs. So nothing has happened. 13 years of time, Comprehensive Peace Accord has made. On the article, it is mentioned that within 60 days, many things will happen. But where are those commitments? Where are those promises given by the political party, by the government to the conflict victims? It is more alarming, and it is more difficult also in the days to come, and nobody is responsible. That is our observation.
Any recommendations on the ongoing, universal periodic review process?
As Nepal has submitted, Nepal has been already reviewed on the universal periodic review, and Nepal has made its report to the Human Rights Council, and the Human Rights Council has yet to give the recommendation, and the Nepal has yet to respond to those recommendations. So it is in this month, March. So let us hope that the Nepal's recommendation will at least show the positive effort towards ending this human right violation cases, and also the grave human right violation issues which we are talking a long time back. From the first UPR review, we have been talking about the impunity issue, rule of law issue, discrimination issue, and many more. And this is the repetition in the second cycle and even in the third cycle. For example, the cases of the rape, cases of these kind of women's human right violation cases against this discrimination. These are the glaring cases where we have been witnessing. UPR cycle is every 4 years, means like it is again 12 years of repetition. We are talking about all these kind of things. So I think we have recommended in our yearbook also. The highlight of this yearbook is we have talked about the accountability issue towards the commitment what the government has made. So in a simple word, in a simple line, what I would suggest is let us forget other things. Just remember the accountability issue. Just remember the commitment what the government has made. If it happens, everything will be solved in coming days. That is our view on that.
What are your key recommendations to the government so that the government and the state organs stay by their commitments they have made throughout these processes?
Commitment has to be made, because without the commitment, no action can be made, no planning can be made. There should be commitment, but it has to be made in a what commitment you make, it has to progress in a timeline. For example, you can make a timeline for these kind of issues, what we have made in the Comprehensive Peace Accord. So my recommendation is whatever the recommendation has made by the government, whatever recommendation has accepted by the government, it has to be fulfilled. And also the recommendation made by different institutions, for example National Human Rights Commissions and few others, they have made a good recommendation for the fulfillment of the human rights promotion and protection in the country. So that has to be made. And also all kind of remedies has to be taken in due course of time. So these are the recommendation we have made in our yearbook. So let us hope that in the coming year we should witness less human right violation cases. Let us hope on that.
Well, Mr. Gautam, you're sharing with us very interesting issues from your observation of the year 2020 on human rights abuses and violations. But we are coming to the end of the show. Anything that you want to share to our audience that I have left to ask you very quickly?
Laxman Ji, thank you very much for providing opportunity to share some of the issues which we have been highlighting in yearbook. And at the end, I would like to say that Nepali people are very good people, great people. They understand the issue. They support the government. They support the institutions. But institutions also has to take the lead and to be accountable and to be honest on their promises what they have made in the past. That is my.
Thank you very much for joining us. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Laxman Ji. Thank you for your time.
Dear viewers, time now to wrap up this show. Keep watching us. See you next week. Namaste.